Hi, my dear ones. I'm stopping by to share a few announcements. The first one is that our favorite voice has gone offline. The platform is going through an update. This is something I didn't know the first time it disappeared. Today, I posted lesson 134, but I'm already on lesson 138, which I needed to record today. I'll wait until tomorrow to see if it comes back. If it doesn't, I'll record with the substitute voice while we wait. Is that okay? I always need to stay ahead to make sure nothing unexpected keeps me from delivering the daily lesson. The second announcement is that I've been making reflection videos as the platform recommended, but I won't be doing that anymore. Letting go completely. I'm going to focus exclusively on the course. That's what I came here for. I already have an ebook on Ko-fi, and I can write more. I love writing, because I'm here to be useful to those who want to understand A Course in Miracles more deeply. I didn't come here to serve the platform, and with that in mind, I've decided to expand the reach of my ebooks as much as possible. I'm going with the pay what you want model, with a minimum price of $5. Oh, and before I forget, the one speaking to you right now is not exactly me, but my avatar, created by artificial intelligence. I'm not here to deceive anyone, though. It's just that I don't enjoy recording. I don't feel comfortable in front of the camera, and my natural flow disappears. The result is horrible, accent included. But this avatar speaks over 100 languages as if she were a native speaker. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Send me a little message. Go on, do it. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day.
There is a strange logic that most of us carry without ever questioning it. We believe that building walls keeps us safe, that planning ahead protects us, that staying alert, staying guarded, staying one step ahead of whatever might come, that all of this is simply wisdom, common sense even. But A Course in Miracles turns that logic completely upside down, and today's lesson is one of the most radical in the entire workbook. If I defend myself, I am attacked. Let that land for a moment. Not defending myself is unnecessary. Not defending myself is risky. The lesson says the very act of defense is itself the attack. Understanding why changes everything. Before we go deeper into the teaching, let's be clear about what the practice actually asks. Twice today, for 15 minutes each time, you stop. Not to meditate in any elaborate sense, simply to rest from planning. To step back from the constant mental activity of organizing the future, analyzing the past, and trying to control what happens next. During those 15 minutes, you open yourself to receive rather than to manage. The affirmation that holds the practice together is this: if I defend myself, I am attacked. But in defenselessness, I will be strong, and I will learn what my defenses hide. You don't need to force anything during these periods. You don't need to achieve a particular state. The Course says simply, rest from senseless planning and let truth enter. If plans are needed, you will be told. If answers are required, they will come. Your only role is to show up without armor. Throughout the rest of the day, whenever you feel that familiar pull toward defensiveness, that impulse to protect, to react, to strategize, you remind yourself, this is my Easter time, and I would keep it holy. I will not defend myself, because the Son of God needs no defense against the truth of his reality. There is no alarm to set, no rigid schedule to follow, just 2 honest pauses taken with willingness. The Course asks a question that seems almost too simple. Who would defend themselves unless they believed they were under attack? And the answer reveals the trap. The moment you reach for a defense, you have already accepted a premise. that something real threatens you, that the danger is genuine, that you are, in fact, vulnerable. Defense doesn't protect you from that belief. It confirms it. Every wall you build is a statement. I am afraid, and the fear is justified. This is what the Course means when it says defense gives illusions full reality. You are not responding to a threat. You are creating one. The act of defending is the act of declaring yourself attacked, and it spirals from there. The more you defend, the more real the threat feels. The more real the threat feels, the more urgently you defend. You are not escaping fear. You are feeding it, layer by layer, until the armor itself becomes the prison. The world is built on exactly this logic. Every structure we have ever constructed, legal systems, armies, borders, social codes, exists because somewhere underneath it all, humanity accepted the premise: we are in danger and we must protect ourselves. The Course doesn't shy away from how deep this goes. It says, no one walks through this world without terror at the heart. That is the cost of choosing defense as a way of life. Here is where the lesson gets genuinely surprising. It asks, what exactly is it you're protecting? When you trace the instinct to defend all the way back to its source, you find the body. The body is fragile. The body gets sick, grows old, feels pain, and one day stops functioning. So we spend enormous energy, physical, mental, emotional, trying to protect it, preserve it, and keep it going. But the Course makes a distinction that changes the whole picture. The body, on its own, has no fear. It doesn't assign value to itself. It has no opinions about its own survival. Every meaning the body carries was given to it by the mind. The body became precious, became something worth defending, because the mind decided it was who you are. And that decision is the error. If you believe you are a body, then of course you feel threatened. Of course you need protection. A body is always vulnerable. But if the body is simply an instrument, a temporary, serviceable tool the mind uses while it has need of it, then it requires no elaborate defense. It doesn't need to be saved. It just needs not to be abused. The Course says the body will be strong and healthy when the mind stops assigning it roles it cannot fill. The body breaks down not because the world attacks it, but because the mind loads it with impossible expectations, demanding it provide safety, identity, permanence, and meaning. That is too much for any body to carry. And the strain shows. There is a self you have been working to protect your entire life. And here is what A Course in Miracles wants you to consider. That self is not real. The constructed identity, the one made of preferences, history, achievements, wounds, and personality, that self is exactly what your defenses are designed to maintain. Every time you feel threatened, what is actually being threatened is that image. Someone contradicts it. An event disrupts it. Life doesn't confirm it. And instantly, the defense mechanism activates. But what if there is something in you that cannot be threatened? What if your actual reality, the self that A Course in Miracles points to, is completely beyond the reach of anything the world can do? Then defense doesn't protect you. It hides you. It covers over the truth of what you are with layer after layer of armor until you can no longer see what's underneath. Your defenses don't keep danger out. They keep the light in. This is what the Course means when it says, defenses are the plans you make against the truth. Their purpose is to screen out your own reality, to make sure you never have to face how whole, how invulnerable, how loved you actually are. Because if you knew that, the defenses would become obviously unnecessary, and you would have to let them go. There is one specific form of defense this lesson examines very carefully, And it may be the most surprising: planning. We don't usually think of planning as a defense mechanism. Planning seems responsible, mature, wise. But the Course draws a clear line between receiving guidance and manufacturing control. A mind that is constantly planning is a mind that does not trust. It is a mind that believes, if I don't figure this out, it won't be figured out. If I don't anticipate the problem, no one will. If I don't control the outcome, something will go wrong. That is a frightened mind, not a wise one. The Course describes the healed mind very differently. A healed mind doesn't generate its own agenda. It listens. It waits for direction. It carries out what it receives and rests in confidence that it will be given what it needs to do so. It isn't passive. It acts fully and completely. But it acts from wisdom it didn't manufacture on its own. This is the distinction between planning and trust. Planning says, the future is uncertain and I must shape it. Trust says, the future is held and I can be present now. The unhealed mind is always living slightly ahead of itself, organizing tomorrow based on yesterday, trying to protect next week using last year's data. In doing so, it completely misses the present moment, which is the only place where truth actually lives. The present needs no planning. It only needs openness. This is the question worth sitting with. What are your defenses hiding? The affirmation names it directly. In defenselessness, I will be strong, and I will learn what my defenses hide. This is not a promise that lowering your guard will leave you exposed. It's the opposite. It's saying, the strength you've been looking for in your armor has been waiting underneath it all along. When defense falls away, what remains is not weakness. What remains is the awareness that you were never actually in danger, that the threats your mind constructed were always illusions, given power only by your belief in them, that the elaborate systems you built to protect yourself were protecting you from exactly nothing real. What gets revealed is something the Course calls the light, your actual nature, uncovered. And that light is what this lesson says the world needs. Not more defenses, not better armor, not sharper strategies. Light. The Course says that without defenses, you become a light which heaven gratefully acknowledges as its own. And as that light becomes visible, to you, to others, it grows. It extends. It touches other minds still locked behind their own armor, and in some quiet way, it shows them what is possible. That's the ripple. That is why your willingness to lower your defenses isn't a private, isolated practice. It contributes to something much larger than one person's piece. The lesson offers the most beautiful reframe near its end. It asks, what could you not accept if you knew that everything that happens, every event, past, present, and future, is gently planned by one whose only purpose is your good, not planned by you, not controlled by your strategies, gently planned by love itself? If that is true, then your defenses were never needed. They were never protecting you from harm. They were blocking you from receiving the good that was already on its way. While you made plans for survival, something larger was quietly leading you toward life. Your present trust in that, not future trust, not trust you'll build up over time, but the trust you can choose right now. That is the only defense that actually works, not because it fights anything off, but because it removes the need to fight at all. This is what the Course calls Easter time. Not a date on a calendar, a moment of rising. A moment when what seemed like threat reveals itself as the pathway home. When the death you feared turns out to have been the very thing leading you back to life. Before your practice periods today, take a moment to notice how much mental energy goes into defense. The small irritations you prepare comebacks for, the scenarios you rehearse, the contingency plans stacked on contingency plans, the quiet, constant vigilance. And then ask yourself honestly, has all of that made you feel safe? Or has it just made the threat feel more real? Today's invitation isn't to become careless. It's to discover that the safety you've been building toward from the outside has always been available from the inside, not through effort, but through release. In your 15 minutes of stillness, let yourself be without a plan. Let yourself not know what comes next. Let yourself be provided for, rather than providing for yourself. Something in you already knows how to do this. That part has never been afraid. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next lesson.